Okay, today we are going to take a look at the best-selling adult electric bicycles listed on the Amazon website and take a look at them, see if they're worth buying. Let's start with number one. The top-selling bike on Amazon currently is the Jason EB5 electric bike for adults. It has a peak 500-watt brushless motor. It's rated at 20 miles per hour. This would be a Class 2 bicycle. It's going to have a throttle on it. It's got a 360-watt removable battery. Take a look real quickly at the specs on the side. Not super impressed with the safety comes first. Let's go ahead and take a look at the reviews. It has 1,734 reviews. We're going to focus in on the 1-star reviews. It seems to me that customers are complaining about returning the bicycle and needing to pay return shipping back to a foreign country. Customers seem to have problems with the batteries. Again, concerns about customer service. Parts breaking after a few uses, 73 miles. This customer received a replacement controller that does not match the controller that was sent to them. Very interesting. It looks like they've built the controller into the battery mount. These folks have a range of about 15 minutes, 8 to 10 miles, not the advertised 50 miles. More problems with the batteries. Now we'll take a quick look at the 5-star reviews. Unboxing takes about 15 minutes to assemble. That doesn't seem nearly long enough to assemble a bicycle that's even 90% assembled, to be honest. They have some complaints, even with 5-star reviews. They mentioned the handlebars becoming loose on every ride, once or twice per ride. The rear brake becomes loose. They can't disconnect the rear wheel. They also mentioned that the battery connector is a proprietary design where the controller is built into it. But they're still overall happy with it, and they're getting exercise. This customer also complains about the loose and wobbly handlebars, which is certainly a safety concern. This customer says it's an amazing e-bike, but please read this review before you buy. They ordered the bike in a blue color with no fenders or a rear rack. It arrived about a week later. The assembly was very easy. It took me and a friend about 30 minutes to build, and we are 13 years old. I don't recommend a 13-year-old build an electric bicycle, or any bicycle for that matter. Make sure the handlebar is extra tight, which is the common concern among many of the other reviews. This bike was very difficult to assemble. They mentioned the fork being unaligned, misaligned. More issues with the front fork not working or being aligned, so the wheel cannot be installed. Issues with customer service. Battery only lasts about 3 miles. Okay, so we have some pretty mixed reviews on the Jason EB5. We're going to go along to the Funhang electric bike. It's a 1,000-watt motor with a 25-mile-per-hour maximum speed and with a peak power of 1,000 watts. That would make this bike illegal in the state of California. Also, the 25 miles per hour with a throttle would make it illegal. With 4-inch wide, 26-inch tires, the bike is going to come in quite heavy. I would suspect in the 80-pound range. Let's go down and see what they advertise. A quick note, they are saying that there are scam sellers selling this bicycle. They list the bicycle weight at 68 pounds. That may or may not be with the battery. I have assembled multiple bikes that are very similar to this, and they typically weigh closer to 80 pounds. Take a quick look at the reviews. This has much higher ratings than the previous bicycle, with only 2% showing a 1-star review. The tires are flat. Well, not a big deal. No manufacturer of bicycles will warranty tires, typically speaking. You run through glass, you run over a nail, you get a flat tire. All of the positive reviews seem to be truly positive. Again, the issue with the Funhang electric bike is that it would be illegal in the state of California, and technically it would be illegal anywhere in the country unless local state laws would be allowing the bike to be ridden on their roadways. The federal law on e-bikes is a 750 power or watt power limit, and this bike will not fall into an appropriate class of bicycle. The three classes are: class 1 can ride up to 20 miles per hour with the use of pedals. A class 2 can ride up to 20 miles per hour with the use of a throttle. And a class 3 bike can ride up to 28 miles per hour with the use of only the pedals. And seeing the 1,000 watt 25 mile per hour and the bike clearly has a throttle would make this bike really a non-classified bicycle. So technically this is a moped, not an e-bike. Moving on to the bike number 3, which is the Funhang 26-inch 1,000 watt e-bike. Immediately there are some similar issues to this bike, where it has a 1,000 watt peak motor, which will make that bike illegal in virtually every state. Absolutely illegal in the state of California. Also with a 21.7 mile per hour maximum speed. It does not fall into the 3 bike classification system. Relatively high scores. We'll take a look at the 1-star ratings. This customer never received their bicycle. The company has been scamming customers by holding their money for many, yes, many months while the item is shipped, but no order has been received. All Amazon was able to do was apologize. An additional customer referring to the company as a scam. This customer says the bike is excessively heavy. Let's take a look and see what the weight is listed at on the bicycle. They list the package weight as 64 pounds, so the bike would be quite a bit lighter than that. Typically, a bicycle box will weigh about 10 pounds. But still, with the 1,000 watts, illegal in most locations. Let's move on down to the next row of bicycles. Number 4 on the bestseller list is the Racer electric bike for adults. It has a peak 750 watt motor, which is within the legal limits, but it also lists a 22 mile per hour speed, which would not be a bike that would fall into one of the classifications. So illegal in the state of California. A bit higher dissatisfaction rate at 8%. Initially, this customer stated that the bike was awesome, but they've updated that was December 2nd. On December 31st, less than a month later and 126 miles, they have updated it. So to return this bike, I have to ship it through my local post office and it will cost me $222. They have a couple of images showing their display is not functioning. It appears as though the bike is severely out of alignment from the rear view picture. And they are showing a hole in the inner tube. Now, that hole in the inner tube is not typically in a location where you would think it's a defective tube. It looks like they perhaps ran over something. The next review also started as a positive review, but was modified. They received an error code with the motor. They were outside of the return window. They received a new wheel with the motor. Unfortunately, it was not the correct motor. And locally, none of the bike shops will look at it. The only bike shop that will work on it, charges $125 per hour. The following customer has about 6 hours riding the bicycle. They have a flat tire. Again, you can't blame the manufacturer necessarily for that. They expected a lot more for $500. That's where they were mistaken. You do not get a quality bicycle without a motor for $500, let alone one with a motor. More tires popping. They were able to get their money back through Amazon. This customer's bike was not delivered by FedEx. They had to drive and pick it up. It had the wrong color paint. Several scratches, tore up box, an additional flat tire. Poor customer service. The worst thing ever. Tires pops all by itself. We haven't even rode it yet. Back tire lasts less than a week. More tube leaking issues. So perhaps there truly is something going on with this. The quick release spring broke while doing 20 miles per hour, and I was hospitalized. Lucky to only have bruised ribs and a concussion. Also, my wrist may be broken. This customer received a used bike, they claim. Additional flat tires. And battery's not working. Bike stopped working in 9 weeks. Another flat tire. So quite a few issues with tires, more than you would expect. Let's look at this Isinwheel U1 electric bike. It's a folding bicycle, it states. Although not truly a folding bicycle, the handlebars fold down, which is really not a feature you typically would need for such a small bike with 14-inch wheels. It does fall into the Class 2 Classification of 20 miles per hour with a 500 watt model. At $300 with free shipping, it is priced relatively low. And it has a higher overall rating than some of the other bikes we've looked at so far. First 1-star review claims their battery dies after 4 miles. The next review says that this is a horrible bike. The battery dies in about 10 minutes. The handlebars came off without warning and caused my son to wreck. Amazon was not able to help them due to the fact this is a third-party seller. Customer complaining about the weight for such a small bike. Horrible experience attempting to put the bicycle together. Beware of the cheap price tag. You will get what you pay for, and returning is not easy. The pedals scrape the ground when turning. That's not ideal. Battery is failing. Customer claims to have received a return bike with scuffs all over the frame and no protective plastic. Bike rated for 265 pounds. I'm 210. I bent the pedals. The seat clamp won't keep the seat tight. The motor gets hot after a few minutes of going up any kind of incline and turns off. You can't even stand on the pedals because they bend. Shipping return cost is the same price they paid for the bicycle. And they claim the range is between 5 to 7.5 miles on level asphalt with them pedaling along. Not great reviews on this unit. Let's take a look at what the weight is listed at for this unit. They list the bike's weight at 12 kilograms, which is in fact not very heavy. With such small wheels, the bike would not be practical for most users, unfortunately. Bike number 6 on our list, the Hoverfly OUREA. This bike is also listed with a 750 peak motor and a 20 mile per hour charge or maximum speed, which would put this bike into a class 2 designation. The reviews look slightly lower on this bike, with an 11% 1-star rating. All right, this is very, very detailed from user Frank. Disappointing, nice looking mountain bike with issues and failures. He's had the bike for 3 weeks. The company is not responding to him, so he's changed his review to 1 star. He lists the bike coming with a rusty frame, a defective front tire. There's no adjustable stem, so you cannot change the height of the handlebars. brakes squeak quite a bit. He's tried many adjustments, but they continue to squeak. A squeaking brake is not typically a problem. What is a problem is a brake that doesn't stop. The pedal assist is not gradual, which is very common on bikes like this. As you start to pedal, if you're in a high level of assist, the bicycle will have a jerky lurching motion. The key to that typically would be to slightly apply one of your brakes to kill the motor while you're maneuvering slowly. They do have some images of their bicycle. Yeah, that's rust is not great. No customer service. The bike rides 2 miles and it shuts off. This customer complains of the battery never charging. They sent a new battery, which never charged either. This customer bought 2 of them. One will not power up. Merry Christmas to one kid. The other is very disappointed. No customer service. Cheap and faulty parts. Well, that's quite disturbing that the pedal sheared off at that location. This customer believes they received a used bicycle, and clearly you can see the fork is bent and the front wheel is not able to be installed. Let's take a look at bikes 7 through 9. Bike 7 clearly is not an e-bicycle. This is a moped with a peak power listed at 2,000 or 1,500 watts and a maximum speed of 30 to 37 miles per hour. This bike would require registration in any state, as well as insurance and turn signals and whatever other laws may apply in your area. It's got a lower rating than the other bikes, with fewer ratings, in fact. We've got 4.0 out of 5 stars with 15% dissatisfaction, or 1-star review, rather. Bike stopped after a week working. Amazon will not allow returns on this item. $300 shipping cost to return. And they paid shipping to receive it, so if they paid shipping both directions, they're actually losing money. It's unrefundable. Took 3 weeks to show up. You must return the bike to the manufacturer in China. Let's take a look and see what it says about the return on the listing. I do not see anything that says you cannot return it. In fact, it says 30-day returns or replacement. The bike does look extremely heavy. They list the weight at 66 pounds. Okay, we're going to take a look at our 8th bike on the list. Extremely low price at $199 with $100 delivery. They list a 20 mile per hour, 350 watt motor. So this would be a legal bike, e-bike. Not a very good satisfaction rating with 11% 1 stars. The bike is unsafe to use. A little dab of grease right here would have allowed that to have closed easier. The crank is bent. That's not ideal. 2 months waiting for the return part or the replacement part. Bad batteries. The first thing that pops up when you try to return it is that it's not eligible to be returned or refunded. Parts were broken in the box. Let's take a look at the repair policy. It does show a 30-day return period. Again, at $200, you shouldn't be expecting much from your bicycle, but it should be safe. Let's take a look at the Qlife Racer electric bike. This bike, as others I've stated earlier, has a peak 1,000 watt motor, which would make it illegal in most states. Also at 28 miles per hour. With a throttle, it would not fall into the 3 classification system that has been adopted in many states. Very high dissatisfaction with 1 star at 16%. The gears broke inside the motor. No customer support. The bike just stopped working. They uploaded a video and then they ghosted them. Broke down on the first ride. The front fork came welded backwards. I would like to see a picture of that. The welding on the front tire frame is welded on wrong, which makes it impossible for the front tire to even go on. On top of that, the seller doesn't help with any issue. There's another customer that complains of the same welding issue, which has to do with the front fork being twisted dramatically. That is the problem with many of these lower quality forks. I've seen bikes where the bike falls over in the customer's driveway when they're not even seated on the bicycle, and the fork just twists. That's how weak of a fork that they use on these bikes. And we're going to take a look at the 10th best selling e-bike on Amazon. This bicycle also is going to fall into the same category where it is illegal. It is a moped. It is not an electric bicycle. They do say it's an electric motorcycle here in the description, which would require insurance and registration. The motor is too powerful to be considered an e-bike. A whopping 15% of the users have given this a 1-star review. I believe we've seen this bicycle before. Perhaps it's just a different color that's being displayed. A quick glance at the remaining bikes in the top 15. The Happy Run 1500 watt moped style electric bike also would need insurance, registration. This is not an e-bike or an e-bicycle. The next bike is the same bike that we just looked at from Ridstar, it looks like, perhaps with a different seller selling it. Not an e-bike. 13 would be the DYU folding bicycle, which we've already looked at. Bike 14 has a step-through frame. That's the first one of these we've seen. It's listed with 22 miles per hour, which also makes this fall outside of the Class 3 system. And the Gotrax 20-inch folding electric bike, that'll be the last one we take a look at. Priced a bit higher, has better reviews. .500 watts and 20 miles per hour would make this a Class 2 bicycle. It has quite a number of reviews. The first review, that's a 1-star, they don't even want to give it a 1. It looks absolutely beautiful. But they had one of the most dangerous experiences riding this bicycle. While riding the bike on pedal assist 1, the bike suddenly accelerated. Normal pedal assist 1 goes around 9 miles per hour, but it suddenly sped up from 5 miles to 16 to 8 miles an hour without any warning. I wasn't even pedaling. The same thing happened again and again. I turned it on while it was in the parking station, and the wheels started accelerating on their own. Thankfully, it was locked in place. Then they received an error message. Called UPS to pick up the bike. He refused to pick it up, saying he cannot pick it up if it's not in a box. One of the bikes of the two they purchased came with a error code. Warranty was difficult. Very poor customer service. Bike is fun to ride, but no customer service. 250 miles. They've received error codes. It's an adult owned and ridden bicycle. Kept inside, very lightly used. Bike's brakes fell apart within 1 month. Dead on arrival. Flashes an error code when they turn it on. So there you have it. I've looked at the top 15 selling e-bikes on Amazon, priced between $649 and $199. And of those bicycles, this would be illegal, this would be illegal, this would be illegal, 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 illegal. So only the folding bicycle number 15, the folding bicycle number 8, the folding bicycle number 5, the Hoverfly OUREA bike, and the Jasion EB5 bike would be legal to ride in the state of California and many other states as well. So there you have it. Generally speaking, the bikes that are available on Amazon are not, in most cases, worth your purchase or worth your effort. The number one selling bike listed at $400, $399.99, I'm sure is quite a death trap. I've not seen this bike in real life, thankfully, but $400 is not enough money to spend on an electric bicycle. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, comment below and enjoy the ride.